Yeah, I'm gonna just record. So I know it's been like probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 years since I've been on here and made a video. I recently experienced something that I knew I knew in my heart that I needed to share it with a larger audience, right? A lot of times, in my opinion, people make the mistake of feeling like everything that they experience, whether that be something that they felt like God answered a prayer, whether that be a dream, I don't know, and just things that might be a part of your testimony. People kind of like rush to share it without like really considering, is this something I'm supposed to keep to myself, or is this something that need to be shared, right? And I think that just come with, honestly, for me, sometimes it can be a little, sometimes it might be something that's, you know, a not so good thing. But I think most of the time, especially, if you're dealing with people that got a clear conscience and a heart that fears the Most High, it just be excitement. You know what I'm saying? But you still gotta use wisdom and discernment. You know what I mean? You gotta use wisdom and discernment and go to Yah and ask him, you know, is this something that's for me, or is this something that's for the family, for the body, for the tribe, for my nation? And this dream I had in particular, I can 1,000% say that I know this is something that people I don't even know, and people I know included, could benefit from hearing. I had a dream probably about 2 weeks ago that I saw myself like in this house, right? And it was kind of like one of these like old Victorian style houses. It almost looked like the houses that you see like in the murder mystery, almost, right? When it's like a whole bunch of people come over for dinner, and it's this huge house with 1,000 rooms, and you know that type of setup, old creaky floors, stuff like that. And inside the house, all I saw was nothing but people that looked like me. And when I say people that look like me, I just mean other so-called black people, other African American people. Some people I knew, some people I didn't know, but we were all in there, right? And it was maybe like, I'm gonna say like maybe like somewhere between 70 to 100 people in this house. And everybody in the house was dressed down, like, I mean, dressed down to the nine, fly as could be. But the thing that was strange is what was going on inside the house. And what was going on inside the house, y'all, was an all-out war. I mean, inside the house, it was a bloodbath. People was stabbing, fighting, shooting, just killing each other up in the house, myself included. And I was like, what in the world is going on in this house? And what am I doing in this house? And it seemed like the reason, or I perceived that the reason everybody was in here, like, fighting amongst each other, was over some trivial, like, family type drama, like some trivial beef. And there was a point during the fighting and the killing where it was like a 5-minute break. And during that 5-minute break, I saw myself calling the ambulance, calling paramedics to like come and pick up people who still look like they might have had a chance to live. And I'm going through the house and I'm calling, I'm describing the person. I'm like, yep, this person is 5'9", white shirt, black pants, brown, whatever, black hair. They over here by the door. I'm gonna leave them, come pick them up. And I'm doing this for people that was quote unquote on my side and people that I was fighting against. And so I walk outside and I see the ambulance starting to pull up, and they picking up the bodies of people who they're like, first off, they're like a bunch of dead bodies by the door. And then they're like just bodies of people who still living that I had done described, to like who you can come get this person, come get that person. And I see one of my family members outside, and she's trying to tell some of my other family members, some other cousins, she's trying to tell them, like, we're true Israel. We're the Israelites. We have our own culture. We have our own way of life. This is just something that was hidden from us for forever. But we are Israel. That Bible is about us. And she's explaining it to them and stuff. And I see one of my cousins be like, oh, well, that means when we go back in the house, everybody should stop fighting, right? Now that we know who we are. Now that we know we not just black people. Now that we know we not just African Americans or people that came here as slaves. Like, that's a deep revelation, right? You would think. And at this point in the dream, I just see myself, and I bust out laughing, and I was like, I overheard them talking, and I just bust out laughing, and I was like, them same people about to go back in that house and wipe out their bloodline. And I was like, ooh. I felt that. I felt that in my soul when I said it in the dream. Because what I was saying was, and what I feel like the interpretation of the dream was, and what I'm trying to share with y'all is, it don't matter if now that you know you Israel, now that you know you a Hebrew, but your heart hasn't been changed. You haven't gotten for yourself a new heart. You haven't gotten for yourself a new spirit. You haven't transformed yourself by the renewing of your mind. You haven't taken off the old man and put on the new. It don't matter. Our ancestors who knew who they were Israelites, are these same ones who broke the covenant and disobeyed Yah and got us in this trouble we in the first place. They weren't confused about who they were. We the ones in these last days that, because of the spirit of blindness and strong delusion, have not understood who we are. And over the past, I would say 4 or 5 years, it seems like that awakening is being multiplied and sped up. But just because we know who we are, if we still walk with a stiff neck, if we still walk in lawlessness, if we still don't humble ourselves, like the word said, my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and call on my name, I will heal their land. If we don't do those things, knowing that we're Israel don't mean nothing. Just like in my dream, we gonna go right back in that house, and the house is representative of the land of our captivity, wherever we are, wherever we were scattered to. That's the house. It's not a home, but it's a place where we at, or almost like a hotel, a place that you passing through, but it's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. It's not home. And we're in this house and we're killing one another. What's one of the things we know there's propaganda behind it, but what's one of the things they always talk about here in America? Always talking about black on black violence, and the killing in this city need to stop, and the killing here need to stop, and we need to stop killing each other, and we gotta. It don't matter. And yes, it should matter, but it has to be married up with something. It does matter. It matters to know the truth, but knowing the truth and not marrying it with. That's why I say in the book of Isaiah, to the law and to the testimony, to the law of the prophets, the words of the prophet, to the testimony of Yahusha. Here is the faith, those who keep the commandments. Here's the patience of the saints, those who keep the commandments of Yah and the testimony of Messiah. It has to be, the two have to be married. You have to marry what you now know to the teachings of Messiah, and have the mind of Messiah and the heart of Messiah, and really take on the Holy Spirit and surrender to that. Because if we don't, we will do, when it's really time for us to be unified, and when it's really time for us to be together, and when it's really time for us to exit these places where we've been scattered to, we will still be so divided, and we will still be so divisive and just so against one another that we will wipe out our own bloodline. We will continue to do the things over trivial beefs. Look at all the trivial things that you see within the Israelite body right now that they fight about and go on and on about. It's so childish and immature. It don't make no sense. Look at the all of the different sects that pop up in the Israelite community, no different than in the Christian community with the different churches and denominations. Just look at it. It's so. Does that look like a unified body? Is that like and what did Messiah, when they tried to say that Messiah cast out demons by the Lord of demons, Beelzebub? He said, if Satan cast out Satan, then his kingdom is divided and he cannot stand. And that's what we are like. We are like, even in the word, we know historically that there was a northern kingdom and a southern kingdom. There was Benjamin and Judah, and then the other 10 tribes. We cannot continue on like this way. We just can't. We cannot. At some point there has to come a place where there are things that, as we all coming into the truth and the knowledge of who we are, there are things that are non-negotiable, right? Like there's obeying Yah's commands should be something that's non-negotiable. You shouldn't still be confused about that if you've been walking in the truth of who you are. But there's some of the things that we just, as a people, as a nation, find ourselves worrying about and arguing about. It's so silly and immature, and so non-constructive, and it's going to keep us in a place where, even though we know who we are and we no longer just black people or African Americans, and we coming into this knowledge, we not going to be who Yah is calling us to be. We still just going to be a kingdom of niggas that know the truth. And I hate to say it that way, but that's what it is. Because at some point, we really got to understand that, yes, there should be a certain pride and a certain, like how the scales fall from Saul's eyes when he was on the road to Damascus. There should be a certain scale falling from your eyes, and a certain relief and a certain joy and a pride that you feel from the years and years that you've gone, if you like me, wondering who you are, wondering why all this turmoil and torment and affliction and oppression happened to black people everywhere we are, and then to come to the realization and the revelation that, oh, I'm an Israelite. This book is about me. He's talking about me. He's coming to get me. We're going to leave this place, right? And to come into the knowledge of his, yeah, that should make you feel proud. That should make you feel joyful. At the same time, it doesn't mean anything if you don't get for yourself a new heart, if you don't get for yourself a new spirit, if you don't be transformed by the renewing of your mind, if you don't humble yourself, if you don't love Yah with all your heart, mind, body, soul, and strength, if you don't love your neighbor as yourself, you will go right back in that house. You will go right back in your town. You will go right back in your city. You will go right back in your situation. You will go right back in your place of work. You will go right back, and you will try to carry that crap. You will also try to carry that mindset and that mess to the promised land, and you ain't gonna make it. Because he said, I will purge the rebel from among you. So it's time, yo, to the things that cause us to think that it is so important, the trivial beefs, the family dramas, the things that separate us from truly loving one another, holding grudges, the ego, the pride, the idolatrous mindset, all of these things that poison our minds and hearts towards one another and towards God, that cause us to go in that same house where I see somebody look like me. This is family. This is friends. These are people of my own nation, of my own tribe, of my own community, and we killing each other. If we don't let go of that crap and wash ourselves in the blood of Yahusha, it doesn't matter if you know you're an Israelite, bro. It don't matter if you know you're an Israelite, sis. It goes deeper than that. So I hope you understand the urgency and the severity of what I'm talking about, and that this is from a brother who himself is still growing and still learning and still maturing. But I know what I know. And on what I know, I don't mince my words. And so I'm sharing this with you in love, but I'm also sharing with you, like our words say, pull those out of the fire who you can, you know. And we have to really do a self-assessment and make sure that as we come into the truth and the spirit of truth and the Holy Spirit start to lead us in truth and all truth, that we don't continue in the same thoughts and actions and patterns that separated us from Yah in the first place, and that keep us divided as a nation and as a tribe and as Yah's royal priesthood and set apart people. That's it.